जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे। जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे। जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय। जय प्रभुपादा 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 जय प्रभुपादा। नित्याय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्याय गौर हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयो मुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। We'll be reading today from Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 24. ते मय्यपेताखिल चापलिर्भके दान्ते धृतक्रीडनकेऽनुवर्तनी। चक्रुं कृपा यद्यपि तुल्यदर्शनम् शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोऽल्पभाषिणी। ते मय्यपेताखिल चापलिर्भके दान्ते धृतक्रीडनकेऽनुवर्तिनी। चक्रुं कृपा यद्यपि तुल्यदर्शनः शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोऽल्पभाषिणी। ते मय्यपेताखिल चापलिर्भके दान्ते धृतक्रीडनकेऽनुवर्तिनी। चक्रुः कृपां यद्यपि तुल्यदर्शनः शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोऽल्पभाषिणी। प्रभु जी ते मय्यपेताखिल चापलिर्भके दान्ते धृतक्रीडनकेऽनुवर्तिनी। चक्रुं कृपा यद्यपि तुल्यदर्शनम् शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोल्पभाषिणी ते मय्यपीताखिलचापलेर्भके दान्ते न केनुवर्दिनी चक्रुः कृपां यद्यपि तुल्यदर्शनाम् शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोल्पभाषिणी ते मय्यपीताखिलचापलेर्भके दान्ते धृतक्रीडनकेनुवर्तिनी चक्रुः कृपां यद्यपि तुल्यदर्शनः शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोल्पभाषिणी. Mataji, ते मय्यपीताखिलचापलेर्भके दान्ते धृतक्रीडनकेनुवर्तिनी चक्रुः कृपा यद्यपि तुल्यदर्शना शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोल्पभाषिणी. So we'll read the word to word translation. Te, they, mai, unto me, apate, not having undergone, akhila, all kinds of, chapale, proclivities, arbhake, unto a boy, dhante, having controlled the senses, dhrata, kridante, without being accustomed to sporting habits, anuvartani, obedient, chakruha, did bestow, krapam, causeless mercy, yadyapi, although, tulya darshinaha, impartial by nature, shushramane, unto the faithful, Munyahe, the Muni followers of the Vedanta, Alpabhashini, one who does not speak more than required. Translation. Although they were impartial by nature, those followers of the Vedanta blessed me with their causeless mercy. As far as I was concerned, I was self-controlled and I had no attachment for sports, even though I was a boy. In addition, I was not naughty and I did not speak more than required. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, all the Vedas are searching after me. Lord Sri Chaitanya says that in the Vedas, the subject matters are only three, namely to establish the relation of the living entities with the personality of Godhead, perform the relative duties in devotional service, and thus achieve the ultimate goal, back to Godhead. As such, Vedantavadis or the followers of the Vedanta indicate the pure devotees of the personality of Godhead. Such Vedantavadis or the Bhakti Vedantas are impartial in distributing the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. To them, no one is enemy or friend, no one is educated or uneducated, no one is specially favorable or no one is unfavorable. The Bhakti Vedantas see that the people in general are wasting time in false, sensuous things. Their business is to get the ignorant mass of people to re-establish the lost relationship with the personality of Godhead. By such endeavor, even the most forgotten soul is roused up to the sense of spiritual life. And thus being initiated by Bhakti Vedantas, the people in general gradually progress on the path of transcendental realization. So the Vedantavadis initiated the boy even before he became self-controlled and was detached from the childish sporting, etc. But before the initiation, he, the boy, became more and more advanced in discipline, which is very essential for one who wishes to make the progress in the line. In the system of Varnashrama Dharma, which is the beginning of actual human life, small boys after 5 years of age are sent to become brahmacharis at the Guru's ashram, where these things are systematically taught to every boy, be he a king's son or the son of an ordinary citizen. The training was compulsory not only to create good citizens of the state, but also to prepare the boy's future life for spiritual realization. The irresponsible life of the sense enjoyment was unknown to the children of the followers of the Varnashrama system. A boy was even injected with spiritual acumen before being placed by the father in the womb of the mother. Both the father and the mother were responsible for the boy's success in being liberated from the material bondage. That is the process of successful family planning. It is to beget children for complete perfection without being self-controlled, without being disciplined, and without being fully obedient. No one can become successful in following the instructions of the spiritual master, and without doing so, no one is able to go back to Godhead. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitam Sham Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhava Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktaranda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam Garati Vasalam Pangalam Gayate Gari Utpita Tamam Mandeshri Gurudanatarna. So I seek the blessings at the lotus feet of senior Vaishnavas. I have no qualification to sit on this Vyasasana and speak anything, but at the order of authorities and my own purification, for myself actually, for my improvement, I'll be repeating few things which I heard from the senior Vaishnavas and I've read something. So welcome all for this Srimad Bhagavatam class. So this is Canto 1, Chapter 5, Shloka number 24, named Narada's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. So to understand the background little bit, where are we today in this chapter? So Vyasadeva, after writing so much of literature, dividing the Vedas into four, writing Mahabharata for lowly people, for them to understand, he was still feeling very despondent and not getting that contentment. And so he was himself kind of introspecting and trying to analyze what has gone wrong. And he himself could make out basically that I have not pointed out the devotional service to the Lord and not glorified enough, so that could be the reason for my despondency. And while he was contemplating like that, Narad Muni, who is his spiritual master, comes at the scene. And then Vyasadeva ji takes this opportunity and would want to discuss with him the subject matter and trying to understand the root cause. After writing so much of literature for the well-being of the common people, why is still feeling despondent? And he puts forward this analysis, and Naradji reconfirms to him that yes, he says that Naradji reminds him that you have appeared. I mean, of course, Vyasadeva ji is no ordinary person. He himself is a literal incarnation of Krishna himself. So he reminds him that you have appeared on this earth for the well-being of all the people. Hence now please describe transcendental pastimes of the Lord Krishna more vividly. So more forcefully, more single-pointedly you should now describe the Krishna's pastimes. That is what he says. And now to re-emphasize that particular point, Naradji starts telling his own life story to relate to what instruction he is giving to Naradji, Vyasadevji. So he says that in the last kalpa, that is the previous day of the Brahmaji, it's around 430 crores of years is one Brahma's day basically, and what Naradji is telling the story which has happened in the previous kalpa. And he's telling that he encountered the Bhakti Vedantist. So when, as a practice, the sannyasis and the Bhaktivedantists, they have been given the leverage to stay at one particular place in the Chaturmasya, because everywhere the rivers are flooded and everything is wet. There are a lot of serpents and everything is out basically. It is not safe for them to travel, so they are allowed to reside at one particular place and do their bhakti at one particular place. So while these Bhakti Vedantists were staying at one particular place and doing their bhakti, Narad Muni, who was the son of a very poor maid servant, and the mother of Naradji was serving this Bhakti Vedantists, and along with the mother, of course, Naradji was also taking this opportunity and serving those Vedantists. So that is how he got the mercy. So Naradji is saying here in that context that although they were impartial by nature, means the Vedantists were impartial by nature, those followers of the Vedanta bless me with their causeless mercy. As far as I am concerned, or I was concerned, I was self-controlled and had no attachment for sports, even though I was a boy. In addition, I was not naughty and I did not speak more than required. So we will read this purport is lot of filled with lot of instructions. Basically, it is for all of us disciples or the aspiring disciples, so we can relate it to us. So we'll read the purport and try to understand the points mentioned into that. So the first in the purport, Prabhupada says that in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says all the Vedas are searching after me. So it is in Bhagavad Gita 15.1.15, it is said that Vedesha sarver aham eva vedya. So I am to be known from all the Vedas. So that is the purpose of the Vedas. Although in the previous shlokas we heard that how Vyasadeva ji has hidden the message of Krishna, direct message of Krishna under the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But ultimately the message of the Vedas is same. And he describes those purpose of the Vedas into three factions. Firstly, he says, the Lord Sri Chaitanya says that in the Vedas the subject matters are only three. Which are those? To establish the relations with the Krishna, perform the duties in that relationship, and achieve the ultimate goal of the life. So to understand this one by one, to establish the relation of the living entities with the personality of Godhead. So this is basically a Sambandha Gyan. What is our relationship with the Krishna? Unless until we know what is the relationship with the Krishna, we will not be able to better placed ourselves. Like we go to any other company, we newly appointed, we should know our position there. What is the relationship with the managers there? What am I supposed to do? So unless that is very clear, we will not be able to perform our duties very nicely. So likewise, we need to first understand spiritually what is our identity, what is the relationship with the Supreme Lord. So in the Bhagavad Gita 15.7 it is said that Mame Vaisho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhutaha Sanatana. So we are what? We are the fragmental parts of Krishna. And what is being the fragmental parts of Krishna? Our duty. So it is said, Jivera Swarupohai Krishna Nitya Das. So we are fragmental parts of the Krishna. Like if the Krishna is the ocean, we are a drop of the ocean, the drop of the water in the ocean. And our job is to serve Krishna. And that is the most congenial position where we can be happy. We have been taught that Srila Sanatana Goswami is the Acharya for Sambandha Gyan. So Sanatana Goswami has written a lot of literature which helps us understand our relationship with Lord Krishna. And the worshipable deity of the Sanatana Goswami is in the Vrindavan. Can anybody say? Yeah. So Radha Madan Mohan is the Sambandha Gyan Archa Vigraha for understand through Sanatana Goswami. Secondly, second purpose of the Vedas is to perform the relative duties in that position which were established. So once we know what is our position and what is our duty, is that enough? That is not enough. So we need to act in that position. Like in the company, once we know our position, it is expected that we deliver our duties. What we are expected to do, we are supposed to do. So that is called abhideya. Action in that relationship we need to perform. So Srila Rupa Goswami is the Acharya for the Abhideya. And he reveals how to execute devotional service. So the most famous book of Rupa Goswami is Nectar of Devotion. So how can we have the relationship with the Krishna and how do we do that relationship flourish through the bhakti? So that bhakti process has been described by Rupa Goswami. And who is the worshipable deity of Rupa Goswami? Radha Govinda Devji. And third purpose of the Vedas, it is said that, and thus achieve the ultimate goal, going back to Godhead. So this is the third purpose of the Vedas, and which is called Prayojana. So what is the ultimate purpose of life or ultimate purpose of our existence is to establish or to generate the love of Godhead. And through that we can go back to Godhead. So that is the ultimate purpose which is called Prayojana. And who is the Prayojana Acharya? Raghunath Das Goswami. And who is his deities? Gopinathji, who is the master and proprietor of the gopis. So he reveals the way to attain the perfection of one's loving relationship with Sri Krishna. That is the Prema Bhakti. So these are the different acharyas basically has written all the literatures, and it is not exclusive in itself, but through everybody actually we can achieve get to know the perfection. But vividly if you see, these are the primary acharyas through which we can get these three purposes prominently. Further in the purport it is written that as such Vedantavadis or the followers of the Vedanta indicate the pure devotees of the personality of Godhead. Such Vedantavadis or the Bhakti Vedantas. Such Vedantavadis or the Bhakti Vedantas means what? Generally when we say the Vedantavadis or Vedantist, we start thinking that they must be the impersonalist. That is how the understanding is. But the impersonalists they do not have the proper understanding of the Vedas. Why they do not have the proper understanding of the Vedas? Because we can realize the God in three aspects, and only one aspect is there are students of the Vedantas or the Vedas who understands all three aspects of the Krishna or the Bhagavan. Who are the two aspects? Paramatma Sarup and Bhagavan Sarup. So those students of the Vedas who understand the three aspects of the Vedas, that is impersonal aspect, Paramatma aspect and the Bhagavan aspect, they have the complete understanding, and such student or such followers of the Vedanta are called Bhakti Vedantas or the pure devotees of the Krishna. We see factually Prabhupada is also been called what? Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada, right? So Prabhupada has all the concept clear with him, and that is how he is the greatest Acharya. Further it is said that such Bhakti Vedantis are impartial in distributing the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. To them no one is enemy or friend, no one is educated or uneducated, no one is specially favorable or no one is unfavorable. So example is given here of a son, like he doesn't differentiate, So when the sunrise happens, he doesn't differentiate that he has to, the sunlight has to be, or some sunlight has to be given only to the garden or only to not to be given to garbage dump yard or not to be given to the stool. It is not like that. So when sun rises, he gives the equally to everybody. He doesn't discriminate. Of course, somebody decides to cover himself and not get that, it is a different thing altogether. So these such Bhakti Vedantis or the pure devotees of the Lord, they are impartial. They distribute the initial mercy equal to all. And we see in the Shastras how even the notorious people like Jagha and Madha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave that particular mercy. So he is telling that आपने मेरा सर फोड़ दिया है, but that is not enough reason for me not to give you devotional service, like that, right? So they are very merciful. Like a Mrugari story we know, that he was the most contaminated, most cruel person, but Narad Muniji gave him the mercy, right? Dhruva Maharaj, actually he was materially afflicted when he met Naraji, but he gave him also the perfection, the mercy. So the pure devotees of the Lord, they do not discriminate and give the mercy equally to everybody. And why these pure devotees shower their causeless mercy on everyone? Because they are all elevated at the elevated level and elevated level of consciousness, and they want to benefit everyone. So the first causeless mercy, it is called Nirguna Krupa. There is something called Saguna Krupa and there is something is called Nirguna Krupa. So Nirguna Krupa is the Krupa which is given without looking at the qualities of the person. So if the qualities have to be seen and given the mercy, then the qualities become greater than the mercy, which is not the fact. Like we also go for some book distribution or we do some preaching, do we ask the qualification before giving the book in the hand of somebody? That are you qualified? What is your qualification? Are you chanting 16 round? And then we give it? No, we just distribute it, right? Or when we preach also, we do not ask, fill the log, what is your rating, kind of. So it never happens like that. So the initial mercy, all these devotees give free. And factually we also see in our life, like everybody of us have the story, right? How did we come in the Krishna consciousness? And we can see that whether we were qualified to get the mercy. So from our example, we can understand. So the bhakti is not dependent on anything. So I remember for myself that when I got this particular mercy, I was in some foreign country. I was going somewhere. So some devotee, of course, he was not dressed like a devotee, a normal person. I was on the deck, there's a bus, and I was on the top deck sitting there. And somebody came and sat next to me. And when you travel in the foreign country, some Indian you get, you feel always connected, right? So he came and he gave me a piece of coconut. Of course, not a small coconut like we generally get it, but it's a bigger piece of coconut. And he said, this is a prasad, so you please take it. So when he said prasad, I have to take it. So I took that particular prasad. So that is the mercy. And then we started talking. And it so happened that we were working in the same campus, both of us. So he said that he invited me to have a lunch together. So it is a university campus somewhere. So I went, and then there's a group of the students basically doing the PhD in that time. So 8-10 students are doing the PhD, and they used to have the lunch together. So they invited me in that assembly. So of course we all contaminated. We had no qualifications. So they were eating the prasad on the table. I didn't know basically they are devotees, and we were not pure that time. So we had this non-veg dish taken, and I just went along with that and sat with them. And devotees started praying the prasadam, mantras. And to show them I am not less, I folded my hands and closed my eyes and trying to show them something. I am also praying. So after the prayers are over, they asked me that, what and who are you praying to? And I had no answer. So that is the beginning, that is the beginning. And that moment onwards, it was a routine for next 4 months. Every day we used to meet for the lunch, and there's no other discussion but like the 7 days bhakti course of, every day the discussion happens. And that ran almost like a 4 months. And I mean, you can imagine it is quite long back, probably 2001 or so. So we had a proudness within ourselves, right? We are educated people gone in the foreign, our Mecca and Medina is basically foreign, right? We do not like to work here. So we had this pride in the head anyway. So every nook and corner, every logic I could give it basically to defend myself, to not to get sucked into the thing. But I was completely failed in my attempt. And that is how. So, I was trying to say that we had no qualification. At least I did not have any qualification, and we got this particular mercy. So the pure devotees of Krishna, they never discriminate. They just give the mercy, the bhakti lata bij for us. Can anybody say that why this is called bhakti lata bij and not lata bij, right? It's a lata, it is not a vriksha. Why it is so? Because vriksha can grow on his own, but lata cannot grow on its own. So it needs the support, it needs the shelter, right? Either you can take a shelter of some coconut tree or some other tree or some light pole and it grows. So likewise, when we get the bhakti, we need to take the shelter of some senior Vaishnavas, some devotee association. And in that association, we can purify ourselves, and our bhakti lata bij can fructify. So that is how the process is. Otherwise, that lata bij, what will happen if it doesn't get the proper shelter or the support? It will just be on the ground and it will get trampled by somebody, and it is ruined. Likewise, when we get the bhakti lata bij, and if we do not properly protect it and shelter it and do the offenses, our bhakti life is finished. So likewise, we need to be careful. Further in the Prabhupada it is said, the Bhakti Vedantas see that the people in general are wasting time in false, sensuous things. Their business is to get the ignorant mass of people to re-establish the lost relationship with the personality of Godhead. So that is the business of the pure devotees. In the Gita 7.27 it is said, Ichha dvesha samutvena dvandva mohena bharata. So all living entities are born into delusion, bewilderment, and the dualities arisen from the desire and hate. So why we are here? Primarily because we have a lot of kama vasana, desires, and we have kind of an envy. That is how we have been thrown out of the spiritual world to the material world, so that we can enjoy the way we want. So in our small little capacities, all of us wants to become Krishna, right? In whatever limited freedom we have and capacities we have. But we ultimately miserably fail. So to understand, under the pretense of the enjoyment, because that is the purpose we have come here, the people do lot many things. They eat tamasic food, unoffered food, drinks and other intoxicants, extramarital affairs, premarital affairs. Without understanding there is a price to be paid. Then nothing comes free in this life, right? There's an equal and opposite reaction to everything what we do. So not understanding that logic, we in the ignorance try to enjoy. and we get more and more implicated. So we cannot be happy unless until we take the shelter of the devotees and Krishna. So our journey begins when we get the mercy of the pure devotees. Further it is written that by such endeavors of Bhakti Vedantists, even the most forgotten soul is raised up to the sense of spiritual life, and thus being initiated by the Bhakti Vedantas, the people in general gradually progress on the path of transcendental realization. So when such a pure devotee with the intention of giving the mercy, bhakti, comes in the lives change. So it is said that why first of all such devotees even give the bhakti, or why they have that kind of a inclination to give the bhakti. So it is said, what is the difference between the pure devotees and we? The one major difference is that we are into trigunas. We are afflicted by the sattvaguna, rajoguna, tamoguna. But the pure devotees, it is said, somewhere I read, that the people who have rose to the stage of bhava, there are 8 stages of bhakti, right? Can somebody say? Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhava and prem. So these are the stages. So someone has reached the stage of bhava, there where he gets trigunatit. So he is gone beyond that. Like there's an aeroplane or there's a rocket, there's a lot of pull basically, but when it reaches certain level, it doesn't have that pull. So likewise, when you reach that particular stage, you are not pulled down by the trigunas. So you are up there. And when you're up there, your heart is like sweet and mellowed down, and you want to distribute that love of Krishna to everyone. Like Prabhupada went to US and transformed the hippies, and who would want to give it, but he had that love and he wanted to give it, so he gave it. Even somebody with the ill intention comes in contact with the pure devotees, they also get the bhakti. We know in the story of Haridas Thakur, when the prostitute came with the maligned intentions to defame Haridas Thakur, Haridas Thakur would have left that particular place at the first day, but he did not, because he wanted to give the bhakti to prostitutes. So he stayed there and he made her hear the Harinam, and that is how he gave him the bhakti. Even in the case of Jadbharat or King Rahuguna was not very favorably inclined to Jadbharat. He was trying to accuse him, he was trying to blaspheme him when he was being carried in the palanquin. But even to such a person, Jadbharat wanted to give him the bhakti. So that is the nature of pure devotees. Even if somebody with the ill intention, he can get the bhakti. So bhakti is not dependent on anything. Further it is written, so the Vedantavadis initiated the boy even before he became self-controlled and was detached from the childish sporting, etc. But before the initiation, the boy became more and more advanced in discipline, which is very essential for one who wishes to make progress in the line. So the pure devotees, Vedantavadis, gives initial mercy to the boy, not looking at his qualities. He did not see that this boy is having such and such qualities because of which bhakti has to be given. It was not like that. They gave the bhakti first, which is called Nirguna Bhakti. And once the boy got that initial mercy, he became more and more advanced in discipline. So he did not become completely, self-controlled person or not having any inclinations or proclivity to the sports, and it doesn't happen like that. He got the first initial mercy. When he got this first initial mercy, he became the serious. And when they saw the seriousness of the Naraji, he got the further mercy. So the pure devotees have godly qualities. Why do they have godly qualities? Because they always constantly associate with the Lord. So the Lord is full of good qualities, and when the pure devotees associate with the God, they also get the qualities, godly qualities. And likewise, the neophytes like us, or they associate with such pure devotees, they also get afflicted by those pure devotees. Likewise, when Narad Muni was associating with those Bhakti Vedantists or the pure devotees of Krishna, he also got those godly qualities, slowly developed. He became very disciplined in following what he learned basically from those Bhakti Vedantists. So, the second mercy came when you become serious, when you do your sadhana, when you show the interest. We also do the same thing, right? Somebody will distribute the book and talk and this and that, but somebody comes and inquires to us himself, then, we show special mercy. We call him for the programs, we call him for the prasadam and stuff like that. So that is the process. You get the initial mercy, you take that seriously, get disciplined, show proclivity, inclination to adapt, and then attract the more mercy. Then formal initiation happens, and post that, we become self-controlled and detached from the materialistic activities and perfect our life. So there are many points in this particular purport. So to summarize what points we just in this particular section we discuss is firstly is the Bhakti Vedantists, they give the causeless mercy. There is no reason for their mercy. And Bhakti is not dependent on anything. Secondly, importance of association. When we associate with the pure devotees, we develop automatically the divine qualities. Thirdly, Bhakti is infectious, like Karuna, right? It is not possible to get the Bhakti otherwise. You do anything, you jump from the building, you will not get the Bhakti, right? Unless until you come in contact with the devotees, because they have that special something in them to give it to the others. Otherwise, it is not possible. You read the books. I remember my sister had got the Bhagavad Gita probably when I was 8th or 9th. And I tried to read, I read probably 4-5 pages of that. I could not understand. I just kept it like that. It was like that for almost like 10 years till I started going to, I think, 10th or 11th standard. It was just like that. But it fructifies at the end of the day sometime. So after you receive the mercy, you need to be disciplined. And then initiation happens, but the initiation is, we start thinking that initiation is the end of it basically, but actually is the initiation. That is when your bhakti starts. That is when your bhakti begins, start becoming perfect. Likewise, the Narad Muni said that he became self-controlled and completely detached from the materialistic activities. Further in the purport it is said that in the system of Varnashrama Dharma, which is the beginning of the actual human life, small boy after 5 years was sent to become brahmachari at the Guru's ashrama, where these things are systematically taught to every boy, and he is be the king's son or the son of the ordinary citizen. So what was Varnashrama Dharma? So there are division of the society in 4. What is that? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, right? That is a division of the society in 4 categories. That is called Varna. And division of our 4 lives in 4 different stages is called ashramas. So Brahmacharya ashram, Grahastha ashram, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So that is what is called Varnashrama Dharma. So Krishna says in the Gita, Chatur Varna Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. So Krishna has made this division based on not based on birth, but Guna and Karma. So based on our Guna and Karma, this division has been made. And why Krishna made it? So we follow the rules and regulations of Varnashrama Dharma and gradually progress towards him. So these rules and regulations, Varnashrama, were taught that time in the Gurukulas. So when the boy becomes 5 years old, he used to go to the Gurukula. Like we see the Krishna and Sudama, they both went together. One is a king's prince basically, and other is a pauper. But they are learning together under the same Guru, Sandipani Muni. So that training of Varnashrama Dharma helped them to understand the intrinsic principles of bhakti, so that at the end of the day they can achieve the perfection of life and go back to Godhead, and also simultaneously that helped them become the good citizens. So it is said here that the training was compulsory not only to create good citizens of the state, but also to prepare the boys for further life for spiritual realization. So both these aspects were taken care in those things. It is said also the irresponsible life of the sense enjoyment was unknown to the children of the followers of the Varnashrama Dharma. So the children after 5 till 2021, whatever, they used to spend their time in the ashramas, away from the families, and to get the training. And such a person, when he comes into the society later and start his grihastha or continue the brahmacharya ashrama, they all such a training, basically there is a very less chance they will get contaminated, right? So like we see, we are not gone to anywhere basically, and at our home, and from our childhood we have seen all the nonsensical things happening around us. And currently we see so-called high-class societies, everything happens in the home only. They'll not even have to go outside. There's so much of a violence happening at the house itself. There's so much of a intoxication happens in the house itself. So the children, what they get associated with, that's how they become, right? So that is how the contamination started. But that kind of exposure to the contaminated life was not there to the students who were in the ashrama with the gurus. So that is the reason how they were kept purified, and when they kept purified and taught, it is very less chance they can get contaminated. Like we see basically, if the person can, in the colleges we used to say that if you can get through the 4 years of engineering without touching to the smoking and touching to the alcohol, 4 years to go through, then you are gone through, complete. Like it is said also that if you get through mathematics in the 3 semester first, then you are through with the engineering, like that. So if you first 4 years could get through without smoking and alcohol, then in lifetime you can control it. There is no problem with it, like that. So these students who are in the Gurukula like that, when they get the training, that help them throughout their lives. So when these children see the bhakti in their lives, they become the bhaktas at the later date. Further it is said the boy was even injected with the spiritual acumen before being placed by the mother and father in the womb of the mother. Garbhadhan Sanskar, both the father and the mother were responsible for the boy's success. So we see here that what is the consciousness, what is the psyche when we beget the child. The psyche of our psyche should be that we are begetting the child because we are giving the opportunity to some other soul to come in this particular world, perfect his life and go back. So he is basically a soul under our care given by Krishna, and our responsibility is to give him a proper nurturing, care, protection, and so that he can advance in his spiritual life. So that is the purpose. So we need to have this kind of understanding very clear before that is called Garbhadhan Sanskar. And the best example was Prahlad Maharaj. So when he was in the mother of the womb of a Kayadu, the Narad Muni was teaching her, and automatically the Prahlad Maharaj was also get to hear what is the process of bhakti. So that is how. So what is the condition for going back to Godhead? It is further said, without being self-controlled, without being disciplined, and without being fully obedient, no one can become successful in the following instructions of the spiritual master, and without doing so, no one is able to go back to Godhead. So what is the condition to go back to Godhead? So we should have successfully followed the instructions of the spiritual master. So that is the precondition to go back to Godhead. And when can we follow successfully the instructions of the spiritual master? The 3 qualities have been given here. We have to be self-controlled. अपने इंद्रियों पे complete control होना चाहिए. Disciplined. We should be very regulated. And we should be fully obedient. गुरु की आज्ञा का बहुत अच्छे से पालन करना चाहिए. So now let's discuss these 3 qualities one by one. Firstly, it is said becoming self-controlled. So keeping self-control means keeping our senses under control. Like these 4 regulative principles were taught in the ISKCON, that no meeting, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. Does that bring in self-control? Obviously yes. That is what the purpose is. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Krishna says that Manaha Shasthani Indriyani Prakritisthani Karsati. So the conditioned life, that's struggling, like we are all struggling very hard with the 6 senses which include the mind. So the 5 senses and the mind, because of that, being in the conditioned state, we struggle a lot. That is what Krishna says. And we always get defeated by our senses and mind daily. We see that. We always get defeated. And we can only get in control over our senses when we use our senses in Krishna service. I mean, there's a graphic, very famous example of Amrish Maharaj, how he perfected his senses by using his every sense in the service of Krishna. So our senses should get the higher taste, then only it is possible to leave them. Like somebody is in some bad association, addicted to something, you just tell him that leave this, leave that, it is never going to happen unless until he been given something higher taste. Otherwise it is not possible. In Gita 3.13 it is said that the bhunjate te tvagha papa. So when we eat food, when it is not offered, we are virtually eating the sin. That's the whole science behind it. So we know we should be eating the prasadam. So bhoga is not offered, we are hungry, and we took an apple from the fridge and ate. What does that indicate? Do we have a control on our senses? So that is a graphic indication of the loose senses. Like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ate one mango without offering to Krishna, and what vow he took, that I'll never eat a mango in my life. Not just for the mango, but to remind himself that I should not be eating anything which has not been offered to Krishna. So that is the indication that how disciplined, how we can achieve the sense control in our life. Secondly, it is said that becoming disciplined. Discipline means disciple, or disciple means disciplined. So chanting 16 rounds daily, waking up in the Brahma Muhurta, sleeping on time, reading daily Bhagavatam, this is all is required what? Discipline, right? Our life needs to be completely regulated. And third quality is becoming fully, this is what we are learning, we are getting the link, right? The link is basically we need to follow the instructions successfully of the Guru Maharaj to go back to Godhead. And how can we follow the instructions of the Guru Maharaj successfully? We should have three qualities. One is that we should have a complete control on our senses. This is the first quality. Second quality is we should be regulated, we should be disciplined. And third quality is we should be obedient to the Guru's instructions. 100% obedient to the Guru's instructions and sadhu and shastras. So why we have come in this material world? Primarily because of our independent nature, right? So we were happy with the Krishna in the spiritual world, but we had the independence which was never taken away from us. So that swabhava, what swabhava we have, independent nature, that is the reason why we are here today. And what do we do with that independence? We do whatever we want, we eat whatever we want, we go wherever we want, right? We purchase whatever we want, we speak whatever we want. And doing anything and everything, whatever we want, is basically the materialistic life. Spiritual life means obedience. That is the difference. Like that complete freedom to do whatever I want, that is what the indicative or indication of you are living a materialistic life. And what is the spiritual life? When you are obedient to the instructions of the spiritual master, that is the spiritual life. So we need to remain in the Guru's shelter, following his orders. And that kind of obedience will attract the Guru's mercy. So whatever little independence we have, we need to surrender that at the lotus feet of a Guru. Guru not necessarily has to be a Diksha Guru, it could be a Shiksha Guru, it could be a senior Vaishnava through whom we get this particular knowledge. And we always have this independence, and if you do not have that regulated or subservient to the obedience, subservient to the instructions of the Guru Maharaj, will always misuse that. Why will misuse that? Anybody? Why will misuse that independence? Because you are subjected to three gunas. Sattva and Raja and Tama. We are subjected to that, will obviously misuse it. So we do not want to misuse it. So if Guru says, eat this, sleep at this particular time, go here, go there, that kind of a control we should have executed or exercised under the Guru's instructions. Simply we need to follow the instructions of a Guru. So that is the most safest situation. Be completely obedient, and that attracts the mercy. This is actually the Guru Seva. So two things here. in our life are required basically to achieve Krishna. One is called Krishna Bhajan, and second is Guru Seva. But if you have only Krishna Bhajan in your life, you might be chanting 64 rounds daily, but there is no Guru Seva in your life, you will not achieve Krishna. That is what Senior Acharya says. So there is no use. So how do you understand this? Like a small baby, a 2 years old baby. You leave 2 years baby around here somewhere, or somewhere in a house, what does it do? It is given the independence and is given, leash free. It's just free to do whatever he wants. What will he do? He'll go and poke the finger in the fan. He'll go and play with the electric socket. He'll fall from the steps. And mothers keep on always running behind these children. Why? To protect them. So they want to check the independence of the boy, because mother cares for the boy. Literally, the boy will kill himself if there is no mother protection to him. Likewise, we will kill our spiritual life if we do not take the protection of our Guru Maharaj. So that is the connection. So likewise, like a mother, we should take Guru as a mother, and we should completely surrender like a baby to him. Of course, at least at the initial stage, at the beginning of the bhakti, when we'll mature in a bhakti, the Guru themselves will give the instructions accordingly. Automatically it happens. But at the initial, when our Bhakti Lita Bij is very, very small and it is not grown and we are not achieved that mature stage, we should completely surrender to our Guru Maharaj. I remember in my 20s, we had our one Shiksha Guru, and we literally used to write the report card every week to him. There's an instruction that you need to write basically what did you do in this particular week, how it is in line with the instructions given by the Guru in the previous week, what are my problems, how different challenges I'm facing, please seek the guidance. That is how close controlled system used to get executed basically to protect our Bhakti Lata Bij and to protect our lives. And we see practically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you know all that story of the Brahmana, illiterate one who was sitting under the tree and reading the Bhagavad Gita, although could not read it properly. But because Guru has given that instruction, he has that faith in the Guru, the tears were rolling from his eyes. And he has that particular realization, because that this Krishna is the most Bhakti Vatsala and is showering this mercy. So he got the essence of the Bhakti just because he followed the instructions of his Guru Maharaj. Prabhupada's disciples, we see practically how obedient they were. Can you imagine, some African, goes to US, and in the US, Prabhupada tells him that you go to Australia and teach the Sanskriti of India to Australian people. Can you imagine? There's no link, nowhere it is connected, but they have the faith in the word of Prabhupada and they do it and they become successful. Prabhupada himself got the instructions from his Guru Maharaj that you go and preach to the English speaking world. That was the instruction. Prabhupada didn't tell him that, मेरी शादी हुई है, मेरे पास बच्चे हैं, wife है, how can I do that and all that. Of course, he took his time to prepare, to fulfill that particular instructions. And when the Guru gives the instructions, it comes with the empowerment. We practically see that Guru had given the instructions to go and teach into the English speaking world. So Prabhupada, when teaching in the India, it didn't really work. I might be speculating, but I was thinking like that, So he was trying hard, but didn't happen because his empowerment was some specific cause, some specific purpose. So when he went to US, hundreds of temples came, right? He instructed that you should print the books. And today the BBT is the largest publisher in the whole world. So when Guru gives the instruction, it comes with the empowerment. And we should have that particular faith. Like Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives and kins, but he did it because it is Guru's instruction, like that. In the military, we go, first thing is taught is what? Boss is always right. right? Instruction from the senior, you have to follow it. Why it is so? Because that is going to help them in the most eventual condition when the war is going to happen. They cannot keep on questioning the authorities' instructions to them, right? I'm in the middle of some cave here and there, and I've been given the instructions on phone that go left, go right, and I keep on analyzing it and asking that is it right or wrong, should I really go or not? It doesn't work that way, right? So we need to have the faith, complete faith in the authorities who are instructing us. Likewise, we need to give, the, what you call it, the tether, the rope of our independence in the hand of Guru Maharaj, to him to guide us in the process of bhakti, like that. Now to understand what is 100% obedience, we'll just hear one small little story in the Puranas of the Upamanyu. So there's one person called Upamanyu. So he goes to this Guru Maharaj and tells him that Guru Maharaj, मुझे शास्त्र पढ़ने हैं. So Guru Maharaj tells him that शास्त्र विस्त्र रहने दो, तुम ये गाय लो और उसको गाय को चराओ. So he had the faith. So he said, okay Guru Maharaj, and he takes that particular cow and goes to jungle to graze it. So after some days, Guru realizes that he's still a very अच्छी खासी सेहत बनी हुई है उपमन्यु की. तो वो उपमन्यु को पूछता है कि क्यों उपमन्यु तुम क्या खाते हो exactly, your health is so good. So he says that Guru Maharaj आपके instructions के हिसाब से मैं गाय चराता हूँ. उसके बाद आए go to some houses, beg some thing from some houses, what do you call bhiksha, and then I eat that. So he said, the Guru Maharaj says that no, you should not do that. You should collect that particular bhiksha and bring it to me and give it. You should not eat it independently. So he says, yes Guru Maharaj. After some days again he realizes that his health is so still good. So ask him, Upamanyu, what are you eating? Why your health is so good? So he says, Guru Maharaj, I gave my first collected bhiksha to you. After that I go again and I beg at some houses and I get some bhiksha, and through that I eat and survive myself. So he said, no, that is not right. If you go twice to seek the bhiksha, what will my other disciples will do? If they go, then they will not get the bhiksha and then they'll suffer. So you should not do that. So he said, yes Guru Maharaj, okay. So again after some days he realizes that इनकी health जैसे थी वैसी है. What is the reason? So he asked Upamanyu, what is it? You are still the same. What do you do? So he says that Guru Maharaj, when I take these cows for pastures to graze them, sometimes I take some milk and I drink it, and that is how I survive. He said, no, you can't do that. That milk is basically for the calf. The calf will suffer if you drink the milk. You should not do that. So he said, yes Guru Maharaj. Again after some days he says that his health is still maintained the same. What is the reason? So he tells him that, Upamanyu, what are you doing? How do you survive yourself? So he tells him that, Guru Maharaj, when calf is taken the milk from the cow, sometimes some milk falls from the mouth and some foam also falls from the calf's mouth. So I collect that and I take it. And that is how my health is maintained. So Guru Maharaj said, no, that is very wrong. If calf gets a pity on you, it will stop drinking the complete milk and the calf will suffer. Then you should not do that. So he said, yes Guru Maharaj. And that is how time passes. So after some days, likewise, he doesn't know how to survive. So he's in the jungle after the cows eating. So he eats some leaves of some tree. There's a tree called aak tree or something, which is very poisonous. There's some juices of this particular tree's leaves are very dangerous to the health. So, but he did not have option, did not have a knowledge. So he takes these leaves of this aak tree, and he immediately becomes blind with both the eyes. And it was getting dark. He doesn't know how to go back to his ashram. So he started going and he falls into the कुआं में गिर जाता है, अंधे कुएं में, and he doesn't return. So Guru Maharaj and other disciples are worried basically. Guru Maharaj thinks that how close is all the resources to eat, probably he got angry and must have left. But he goes and check along with the disciples. Upamanyu tum kaha ho? Upamanyu tum kaha ho? So there's a voice comes from this kuwa कि मैं यहाँ पे हूँ करके. So somehow Guru Maharaj with his disciples take him out and ask him what is this happened. So he said, no, I had taken some leaves and वो poisonous थे, so I lost my eyesight and I could not see it. So Guru Maharaj said, okay. So he says that you should worship, pray to the Ashwini Kumaras. They are the doctors of the heavenly planet. They'll help you. So following the instructions of the Ashwini Kumaras, he prays. Ashwini Kumara comes and Ashwini Kumara offers him some other fruit and tells him that you eat Upamanyu. So Upamanyu says, no, I cannot eat it. There is no instruction of my Guru Maharaj to eat this. So Ashwini Maharaj also wanted to test him. He says that, no problem. I had also given this fruit to your Guru Maharaj also, and he has also eaten it before asking his Guru Maharaj. So you are his disciple only, there's no problem, you eat this, nothing is going to happen. So he said, no, I will not eat unless until there is the instruction of my Guru Maharaj to eat this. When his Guru Maharaj hears this, he becomes very pleased. And this is called 100% following the instructions of the Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj tells him that from today, or today itself, you will get all the realizations of all the Shastras immediately without even reading the Shastras. And from that day onwards, Upamanyu becomes the Pandita. So that is what the God's mercy is. And that is what the 100% obedience to the instructions of the Guru Maharaj. So there are two things here, one is the Krupa Siddha and another is Sadhana Siddha. So we need to be always dependent on the Krupa of our Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, when we say, is not necessarily the Diksha Guru, but is any Shiksha Guru or any senior Vaishnavas. So we get the Krupa, but when we get the Krupa, we need to be doing the sadhana, and through that sadhana we need to attract the more mercy. So that is the process. So the two qualities other than this, which has been explained in this chapter, is in this shloka is he was alpa bhashini. So you need to be speaking absolutely what is necessary. Alpa bhashini doesn't mean that we should not speak at all. Prabhupada says so many times that he was so against Mauni Baba. He's saying that you have got the quality of speaking, you should use that quality of the speech also to glorify the Lord. Like that. So we should not do any prajalpas. Another quality of the Naraji, it is said, is that no sporting. He was not interested, or there is no proclivity to enjoy the sports. Some of us can also say that we do not also play, so we are also probably at the same level. But is it really so? Nowadays the time has changed. Our plays are different. So we have Netflix, we have Instagrams. So this is now our play nowadays. Reels changing up and down basically. So we should not waste our time. The point is that every second, every minute needs to be used for advancing in bhakti. In Bhagavad Gita 2.64, Krishna says that Raga Dvesha Vimuktaisthu Vishaya Indriyer Charan Atma Vaishya Vidhiryatma Prasadam Adhigachati. So Krishna says that a person free from all attachment and aversion, detachment, and able to control his senses through the regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. So we should have what? We should have a complete control on our senses. We should have complete obedience to Guru Maharaj. That is how we can attract the mercy of Krishna to become perfect in our lives. So likewise, we also can develop these qualities and aspire and pray to our Gurus that they will always shower the mercy on us, and at the end of it we can perfect our lives. So so those are the few thoughts. If anyone has any question, we can discuss it or we can stop. Okay, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.